higher standards of living, full employment, and conditions of economic and social progress and development, solutions of international economic, social, health, and related problems, and international cultural and educational cooperation, and universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. Article 56. All members pledge themselves to take joint and separate action in cooperation with the organization for the achievement of the purposes set forth in Article 55. Article 57. The various specialized agencies, established by intergovernmental agreement and having wide international responsibilities, as defined in their basic instruments in economic, social, cultural, educational, health, and related fields, shall be brought into relationship with the United Nations in accordance with the provisions of Article 63. Such agencies thus brought into relationship with the United Nations are hereinafter referred to as specialized agencies. Article 58. The organization shall make recommendations for the coordination of the policies and activities of the specialized agencies. Article 59. The organization shall, where appropriate, initiate negotiations among the states concerned for the creation of any new specialized agencies required for the accomplishment of the purposes set forth in Article 55. Article 60. Responsibility for the discharge of the functions of the organization set forth in this chapter shall be vested in the General Assembly and, under the authority of the General Assembly, in the Economic and Social Council, which shall have for this purpose the powers set forth in Chapter 10. Chapter 10. The Economic and Social Council. Composition. Article 61. The Economic and Social Council shall consist of 54 members of the United Nations elected by the General Assembly, subject to the provisions of paragraph 3. 18 members of the Economic and Social Council shall be elected each year for a term of 3 years. A retiring member shall be eligible for immediate re-election at the first election after the increase in the membership of the Economic and Social Council from 27 to 54 members, in addition to the members elected in place of the 9 members whose term of office expires at the end of that year. 27 additional members shall be elected. Of these 27 additional members, the term of office of 9 members so elected shall expire at the end of 1 year, and of 9 other members at the end of 2 years. In accordance with arrangements made by the General Assembly, each member of the Economic and Social Council shall have 1 representative. Functions and powers. Article 62. The Economic and Social Council may make or initiate studies and reports with respect to international economic, social, cultural, educational, health, and related matters, and may make recommendations with respect to any such matters to the General Assembly, to the members of the United Nations, and to the specialized agencies concerned. It may make recommendations for the purpose of promoting respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all. It may prepare draft conventions for submission to the General Assembly with respect to matters falling within its competence. It may call, in accordance with the rules prescribed by the United Nations, international conferences on matters falling within its competence. Article 63. The Economic and Social Council may enter into agreements with any of the agencies referred to in Article 57, defining the terms on which the agency concerned shall be brought into relationship with the United Nations. Such agreements shall be subject to approval by the General Assembly. It may coordinate the activities of the specialized agencies through consultation with and recommendations to such agencies, and through recommendations to the General Assembly and to the members of the United Nations. Article 64. The Economic and Social Council may take appropriate steps to obtain regular reports from the specialized agencies. It may make arrangements with the members of the United Nations and with the specialized agencies to obtain reports on the steps taken to give effect to its own recommendations and to recommendations on matters falling within its competence made by the General Assembly. It may communicate its observations on these reports to the General Assembly. Article 65. The Economic and Social Council may furnish information to the Security Council and shall assist the Security Council upon its request. Article 66. The Economic and Social Council shall perform such functions as fall within its competence in connection with the carrying out of the recommendations of the General Assembly. It may, with the approval of the General Assembly, perform services at the request of members of the United Nations, and at the request of specialized agencies. It shall perform such other functions as are specified elsewhere in the present Charter, or as may be assigned to it by the General Assembly. Voting. Article 67. Each member of the Economic and Social Council shall have one vote. Decisions of the Economic and Social Council shall be made by a majority of the members present, and voting. Procedure. Article 68. The Economic and Social Council shall set up commissions in economic and social fields, and for the promotion of human rights, and such other commissions as may be required for the performance of its functions. Article 69. The Economic and Social Council shall invite any member of the United Nations to participate, without vote, in its deliberations on any matter of particular concern to that member. Article 70. The Economic and Social Council may make arrangements for representatives of the specialized agencies to participate, without vote, in its deliberations, and in those of the commissions established by it, and for its representatives to participate in the deliberations of the specialized agencies. Article 71. The Economic and Social Council may make suitable arrangements for consultation with non-governmental organizations which are concerned with matters within its competence. Such arrangements may be made with international organizations and, where appropriate, with national organizations after consultation with a member of the United Nations concerned. Article 72. The Economic and Social Council shall adopt its own rules of procedure, including the method of selecting its president. The Economic and Social Council shall meet as required in accordance with its rules, which shall include provision for the convening of meetings on the request of the majority of its members. Chapter 11. Declaration regarding non-self-governing territories. Article 73. Members of the United Nations which have, or assume responsibilities, for the administration of territories whose peoples have not yet attained a full measure of self-government recognize the principle that the interests of the inhabitants of these territories are paramount, and accept as a sacred trust the obligation to promote to the utmost, within the system of international peace and security established by the present Charter, the well-being of the inhabitants of these territories, and, to this end, to ensure, with due respect for the culture of the peoples concerned, their political, economic, social, and educational advancement, their just treatment, and their protection against abuses, to develop self-government, to take due account of the political aspirations of the peoples, and to assist them in the progressive development of their free political institutions, according to the particular circumstances of each territory and its peoples, and their varying stages of advancement, to further international peace and security, to promote constructive measures of development, to encourage research, and to cooperate with one another, and, when and where appropriate, with specialized international bodies with a view to the practical achievement of the social, economic, and scientific purposes set forth in this article, and to transmit regularly to the Secretary-General for information purposes, subject to such limitation as security and constitutional considerations may require, statistical and other information of a technical nature relating to economic, social, and educational conditions in the territories for which they are respectively responsible other than those territories to which Chapters 12 and 13 apply. Article 74. Members of the United Nations also agree that their policy in respect of the territories to which this chapter applies, no less than in respect of their metropolitan areas, must be based on the general principle of good neighborliness, due account being taken of the interests and well-being of the rest of the world in social, economic, and commercial matters. Chapter 12. International Trusteeship System. Article 75. The United Nations shall establish under its authority an international trusteeship system for the administration and supervision of such territories as may be placed thereunder by subsequent individual agreements. These territories are hereinafter referred to as trust territories. Article 76. The basic objectives of the trusteeship system, in accordance with the purposes of the United Nations laid down in Article 1 of the present Charter shall be